It wasn't initially a sibling set that we were looking to adopt. But as we read and as we understood the aging out process and how sibling sets weren't as often being adopted, our heart broke for that.
We didn't know how it would affect our boys. You know, we had kind of a safe, comfortable, good thing going with just the 5 of us. When I saw that number from AGCI come up, I just knew it was something big. She said, it's really overwhelming. It's gonna be a lot of difficult information to read, but do you wanna take a look? And I like screamed, of course we wanna take a look.
Is this something that we can absorb as a family and take and love and care and provide what they need? And
do we have the time and energy? How is this gonna change our lives? How is this gonna change the boys' lives? We talked with our boys about it, and they were adamant. Yes, of course we're gonna adopt these girls. These are the girls that God has for us, Mom. I mean, look at the way that God has answered our prayers, and we showed the boys the pictures, and they just knew.
Flew into Columbia one night, and then the next morning we drove to La Casa.
They were really scared, and why wouldn't they be, you know? We had about an hour of a honeymoon period with the girls where they were calm and sweet and loving, and then we went straight into major disobedience.
Lizette wouldn't give me any time of day. She would yell at me and scream at me, spit at me sometimes.
We knew that this was what grief looked like for kids, but it's different when you read that in a book and when you're living it, and when you're desperate for your people at home.
For us as parents to connect with our girls, that was critical. But for us to be away from our boys that long was so hard.
I mean, everything was so overwhelming and new and busy and chaotic for us. So much more so for our girls. I can't imagine what they must have been feeling. I mean, so we were just kind of a hot mess, the 4 of us together.
We just didn't know, how is this gonna fit when we come back home? How is this gonna work?
It felt so good to be all together, finally.
They just took to their brothers quickly.
We made a really intentional decision to make our world really, really small.
No to family, no to friends, no to other people.
After a couple of months, we started to kind of broaden our world a bit more. Really helped to pave the way for a stronger foundation for our girls. We just didn't know what to expect, and they're doing great.
Listening to their stories have been so important for us and for them.
With each additional telling of those stories, the girls tell it with more resiliency and strength, that they are the person, the character in that story, that's the strong one.
And we've seen Lizette transform in a year and a half. She's just lovely. Like, she wants to help, and she's a listener, she's patient.
In Nicole, she's feeling more settled. She's having to perform less, be silly less for love and affection.
I can't even believe the transformation that's happened in a year and a half.
Walking into adoption, what I thought would happen was these 2 girls would walk into the stable, fun family unit that we had going on.
It just wasn't about that. It was a restructure of our whole family unit. The transformation is beautiful, but it's not selective. We don't get to choose how we're being transformed in these situations.
God is actually weaving together something really beautiful.
Making our family a new family. That's been challenging and holy and beautiful.